from when you were born. Do you remember? Can you explain it? I was ready to have her in my arms. I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, Jesus, take the wheel. I might just push the baby out in the bathroom, but it's okay. Hey, I'm dying. Take this baby out of me. What's going on? I have no idea what's going on. Please, can we just get this baby out? I'm so ready. What was it? Oh, stop. And it was really good. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Tears streaming down my face. It flooded everything. It's closed super tight on her fingers and she had to like... What's up, Wilson fam? Welcome back to another video. I am about to film my birth story because it's been requested a lot, and yeah, I figured why not, because a lot of people were a little bit confused. I have my birth vlog out there if you want to go watch it, but I just want to clear a few things up and make another video and explain some stuff for you guys. If you hear whining or yelling or anything in the video, that is my crotch goblin. Austin's sitting here laughing at me. But that is Oakland, that is my kid. That is the person we're talking about in the story. Yeah, she's staring at me and being wild and crazy as usual. But yeah, let's get right into the video. So, December 29th, 2019, me and Austin were going to the movies to watch the newest Star Wars movie with his older brother and his family because his older brother was in town. He is actually in the Navy, so he flew down here and hung out with us for a little while, and we all went to the movies to see Star Wars. I was kind of feeling a little bit I was like really tired, as you are, and and now we can both tell our sides of the story from when you were born. Do you remember? Can you explain it?
She's like, no, that's not right.
That's not what happened, Mom. So as you are in your third trimester of pregnancy and like farther towards the end, I was 38 weeks and 1 day at that point. And I was pretty exhausted. My whole body was just hurting. I was tired. I was ready to get this baby out. I was ready to have her in my arms and out of my belly, and causing me so much pain. I was like, maybe it'll happen tonight. So we started vlogging, and I couldn't hardly walk around once we got to the movie theater. So I just kept kind of like walking. I was like waddling, and Austin's mom was like, are you okay? And they had me just like sit down. So we were waiting to go into our movie theater. We were just like sitting on one of the bar stools in the movie theater just because there's like a big eating area in the same spot. So we were just chilling, and I did not want to move. And eventually it kind of just went away. I was like, oh, maybe there's really bad Braxton Hicks, because I know they can get pretty bad, because I had a lot of Braxton Hicks throughout my pregnancy, especially towards the end, and sometimes I thought I was just going into full-blown labor, and I was like, oh my gosh, we need to go to the hospital. About a quarter of the way through the movie, I was just sitting there, and I was really in pain, and I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Do I need to go to the hospital? Do I sit here? Do I need to go to the hospital? We just got into this movie. I don't want to like interrupt everybody and get up and leave and go to the hospital and have an extra hospital bill. Austin's stepdad was sitting right here. Austin's mom was sitting next to him, and then Austin was right here. I kind of like look at Austin, and like we were talking about how I was feeling, and I was like, I don't know if I can last to the end of the movie. I was just like tired of it. So I started texting Austin's mom, and she didn't see the text because of course we're in the movie theater.
Why are you being so crazy? It's just sleepy.
She didn't read it, of course, because in the movie theater your phone's off or silenced or whatever. So I like tap his stepdad, and I'm like, hey, I texted her, can you please have her look at her phone? So she looked at her phone, and basically I said something like, hey, I'm having like back contractions. I don't know if I should go or not. What do you think? She's like, well, can you breathe through them and talk through them easily and stuff? And I was like, I mean, kind of, but I feel like I need to go. I'm hurting pretty bad. So I was like, weighing out like the good and the bad, if I should go or not. And eventually we decided I should go because I could talk to them, but I was kind of like forcefully like, hey, I'm dying, I need to go. So we went ahead and got up and went to the hospital. And whenever we got in there, we were immediately put into triage, which is just like the waiting area where they check everything. They check the baby's movement, they check her heart rate, they check to see how bad her contractions are and how far apart they are and everything, and they check your blood pressure, all that stuff. We're doing all that, and they're like, wow, your contractions are pretty strong and they're pretty close together. And Oakland's heart rate was going good, she had good movement and stuff, and I just kept having contractions, and it took them forever to come finally see if I was dilated. I was dilated to a 2. Like a day or 2 before that, I was dilated to like a little over a 1. Like barely over 1. They weren't sure if it was a 1 or a little over a 1. It depends on how big the lady's fingers were. You ladies know how that goes. They checked me and I was a 2. And they were like, okay, well, of course you're not like dilated enough for us to admit you or anything. So you can walk around, drink lots of fluid, and just walk around the labor and delivery area. And they said, in a little bit, we'll have you come back in here and we'll check to see if you've dilated anymore. If you've dilated a lot more, then we'll go ahead and admit you. But if not, we'll see what happens. So I walked around for like 2 hours. It was exhausting, especially with the contractions. I was like, Lord, just get this baby out of me. I want to go home, but I want to get this baby out, and I won't hurt my arms, and I'm so tired of this. Take this baby out of me. So we just kept walking the hallways. We were laughing. Me and Austin were joking and having fun while his parents were at the movies and chilling and stuff. So I was just chugging water. And the hospitals, let me tell you, they have the best ice. I was like, I need some more of the ice. Like every time I ran out, I was like, give me some more of the ice. If anyone knows me, they know I love ice. I love chewing on ice. I will eat ice for days. I was addicted to it in my pregnancy. I just kept walking for like 2 hours. Finally, I was like, listen, I don't want to walk anymore. I'm dying. Please check me again. So I checked to see if I was dilated. I wasn't in horrible pain, but I was in enough pain to just be like, please just admit me and let's get this over with. Hope that I push this baby out tonight. So I have a pretty high pain tolerance. Everyone says I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but they checked me again and I was like a 2.5. They said I could be close to a 3, could be close to a 2, but I was like a 2.5, somewhere in between. And I was like, oh good. So I walked around for another hour. It was getting very late by then, very late. And then they checked me again, and they said I might be closer to a 3, but I wasn't a 3 yet, they don't think. They're like, okay, since you're not dilating enough, we're gonna send you home. It was probably like 10, 11 o'clock at night by the time they finally decided they weren't gonna admit me. So they gave me some Ambien. If you guys don't know what Ambien is, it's basically like a sleeping drug. It's okay for a pregnant woman to take, of course, like not all the time, but they were like, you need to sleep tonight, and then if the Ambien wakes you up, we will know that you're in labor, because this Ambien is strong and you're little. They're like, we're not even gonna give you the full dose, but if your contractions are bad enough that this wakes you up, that like they wake you up on this sleeping medicine, then you probably should come in. So they gave me the Ambien, and they were like, they told Austin, because at that point I was already getting drowsy, they were like, take her home, but first, like, take her to get food real fast. Like, go to a drive-thru and get some food in her, because she will fall out, like, on the way home. Like, she's not even gonna make it home, you guys. Like, you're gonna need to tuck her into bed and stuff, because she will be out. So I was like, oh good, I'm gonna be drugged out and stuff, and then be in labor and just, ugh. So we went to Arby's quickly, and I even have a video. If you guys wanna watch the video, you guys can go watch our birth vlog from that night. I was just sitting there eating my Arby's, and I was like, what's going on? I have no idea what's going on. What's happening? It was awful. I barely even made it home. I don't remember the rest of the car ride. I kind of just remember sitting there, kind of like glancing around every now and then, and like knowing we were driving, but I was just kind of out. I was like ready to get in bed. I was done. I don't really remember it at all, but like I barely remember an inch of it. Austin helped me shower and everything, and he helped me get in bed. And by the time I got in bed, it was probably like 1 o'clock. And then I woke up at 3 in the morning, exhausted, in pain. I had a little bit of like brown blood stuff coming out, which means like old blood. So I was just like, it's probably not nothing. I'm probably just going into labor, but I want to try to go back to sleep. Long story short, I didn't fall back to sleep till like 6 o'clock. So I was up for a while, from like 3 to 6. And I was still feeling like doo-doo. And then I woke up around 7. So in that whole time, I slept like 4 hours. That's good. 4 hours sleep. I was dying. I was like, please, can we just get this baby out? I'm so ready. I got there because we lived with my parents at the time. This was before we moved into our house and everything. I went out there with my mom. Austin already went to work because at his old job that he was working at, he had to be at work at 5:30 in the morning. So I just kind of like walked outside to my mom, and my grandma, my dad, and my mom were all sitting out on the porch. My mom was drinking her coffee and they were just conversating. So I walked out there and I was like, okay guys, I have this ish coming out of me. It's like blood, brown blood, and there's a lot of it and it's just not good. It's kind of gross. And I was like, but whatever. And I was like, and I'm kind of contracting. I'm hurting pretty bad, but whatever. It's okay. They're like, okay, just call your on-call OBGYN and just see what they say to do. So I ended up calling, and the nurses picked up and they were like, okay, we will talk to like one of the OBGYNs that are on call at the hospital right now. So this is like December 30th. This is December 30th now. Okay. The morning of December 30th. And the OBGYN called me back. I explained everything. They're like, you should probably go in because you're probably in labor. They looked at my like charts from the night before and they were like, yeah, we need to go in because you're probably in labor. And I was like, okay, cool, let's go in, I'm ready. But they didn't have me like go into the hospital, because the women's center, like where all the pregnant ladies go and stuff, isn't really attached to the hospital anymore. It's like on another side of the city. We get to the women's center and she was like, you're like a 3. So I had like dilated closer to 3. I was like, oh good, I'm probably not even in labor again. But like she checked me and like there was a bunch of blood and stuff, and she had to give me like a big pad to wear, and she was like, go walk around for like an hour, just an hour, and see what happens. I went and walked around at Hobby Lobby. I had to go to Hobby Lobby and look around, but the whole time, okay, so I was with my grandma and my mom because Austin was at work, like I said. He couldn't go unless I was actually like admitted to the hospital. So I was like walking around, and every like 5 minutes I was like, stop. Okay, contraction. Mom, hang on. You can go shop, but I'm gonna stay right here. Okay, so it was like every 5 minutes, but then it like went down every 3 minutes, and then it was like every 1.5 minutes. So I would just kind of like keep doing that, and finally I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I felt like I had to poop, but I didn't. So like I went to the bathroom, I didn't poop. So I was like, okay, that's good. Maybe she's just like pushing on something down there. I got back out there and she's like, are you okay? And I was like, I think so. I think I'm good. I'm good. I might just push the baby out in the bathroom, but it's okay. I'm 17. I've never had a baby before. But it's okay, right? Right? Is that okay? Make a long story short. I'm not making it very short. We go get lunch at a nice restaurant because they were like, we're gonna have your pre-birth meal and then we're gonna go back to the OBGYN and see what she says. So I ate and I was like, I gotta eat all this food, but I could barely even eat. I was so hungry, but I was just like tired. I was contracting and I was just like, I'm done, I feel good. I don't want to eat. I do not want to eat. I'm sorry. So we go back to the OBGYN. Well, before she checked me, she was like, girl, I don't think you're in labor. You're talking, you're laughing, you're joking, like you're acting fine. She was like, I barely see you like leaning back and kind of like, you don't act like you feel good. But like, she was like, you're acting fine. She was like, you kind of act like you don't feel good, but hey, you're pregnant. She was like, I don't think you're in labor. She checks me and she's like, oh girl, you're 5, you're in labor, you need to go to the hospital. And like, after she checked me, there was just blood everywhere. There was like all this stuff everywhere. Mind you, my water has not even broken yet, but I had all this stuff coming out and it was really good. It was wonderful. So I put a new big pad on because it was just like, I was flowing like the Niagara Falls. Just like the Niagara Falls, but a different color. She sent me to the hospital. She was like, I called them. They're ready for you. They have your room. You just walk in and you get in bed and do whatever you want from there on. So we get there. And Austin had all of her stuff. I called Austin. I was like, hey, babe, we're having a baby. Come to the hospital. She was like, heck yeah, I can leave work. That's all I cared about, him leaving work early because he did not like his previous job, but I will not say that, even though I just said it. My bad. Don't hate me, Austin. We get in there, I get all settled. I get my IV put in, which I hate. Really sucked. I do not like the feeling of IVs, but my first nurse was amazing. She was really good. Okay, so the second time I got checked at the women's center, it was around like 1 o'clock. That was whenever I was like 5. And then I went to the hospital. I was probably admitted around 1:30, 2 o'clock. But yeah, that's whenever I was 5. That's whenever I texted Austin and everything and said, get to the hospital, having this baby. Austin got to the hospital. But basically just like walk around after getting my IV stuff. Like they already put in the IV and gave me the drip so I could get a bunch of fluids in, because if you get an epidural, you need to have a bunch of fluids or else it's not good. Not for sure why. I'm not a medical professional, don't listen to me. But yeah, basically I just unhooked it after I got all my drip and everything, and I just kept walking around, and eventually they checked me again and I was a 6. I kept walking and I was 7, and then I eventually just had to lay down. I was like, guys, I cannot walk anymore. I feel like I'm dying. This is not good. I was kind of like stuck at a 7 for a little bit. My nurse was like, if you don't keep like dilating and like laboring and stuff, then we're gonna have to probably put you on Pitocin. And I was like, well, don't do that yet, because I heard that labor can be a lot worse if you get put on Pitocin. To like induce your labor. So I was like, let's just wait. I want to wait. After she left, basically this whole time they said that my water was bulging. So like, well, my membranes were bulging. So like my water could break at any moment, but it wasn't breaking by itself for some reason. So she said, she'll come in and break your water after your epidural if you plan on getting one. So after she left, I kind of just laid there for a second, and then I really started contracting, and I was hurting, and I was hurting. I felt like I was gonna die. Everybody says that I was doing like really good for being at what I was, because she came in and checked me again. I was at 9 centimeters. This was before I even got an epidural, and I was sitting there and I wasn't screaming. I thought I was, and I felt like I was, but everybody says I wasn't. I was kind of just like crying because it really does feel like your insides are being ripped out. It's crazy. I was not 9 centimeters. She was like, okay, I'll tell them to come get your epidural, because she was like, you do not look like you're having very much fun. If you guys want to go see like more in depth of certain things, go watch our birth story. Like I said, it's just in our videos. I'll link it down below as well, so you guys can go watch it. Just click on it in the description. And I might also put it right here. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, it took forever for the anesthesiologist to come in and give me my epidural, because he was actually in a few C-section surgeries, so it was taking so long. And I was like, whatever, I guess I'm not gonna get an epidural, and I'm just gonna push this baby out without an epidural, which is fine. But I was either ready to push her out or just bring the epidural, like do one or the other. Like, can someone just come help me, please? So finally he comes in, and I can barely sit up, I can barely do anything. I was sitting there like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was just tears streaming down my face. It was not fun. It was fun, but it was not fun, if you guys know what I mean. He gives me my epidural. After that, it's pretty smooth sailing. I was just kind of like limp and everything. And eventually I started getting this like really, really bad pain in my left like lower area, like where my ovary is and stuff. And like it was hurting so bad. It felt like the worst like cramp ever. It felt like all of my contractions were in one spot. And come to find out, they were. They gave me like the button that you can press to get like a little bit more epidural dosage. I pressed it because they let me do that, and the pain still didn't go away. It did not even go away an inch. They let me press it again a few minutes later, and it still didn't go away. I was like in tears at that point because it hurt so bad in that one spot. And then they came in and like looked at me a little bit, and they said I had a hot spot. I didn't know what that was at the time, but apparently they said it's whenever basically all of your contractions go to one spot whenever you have an epidural. So the epidural works on every other spot except for that one spot. So it hurt so bad, all of my contractions were in one area, and I thought I was going to die. They come in, he gives me a whole nother epidural. They don't have to do the whole thing in my back again, but he like gives me a whole other full dosage. And after that, I was so limp and numb, I could not feel nothing. I didn't even feel like I had legs. I didn't even think I had legs. Someone could have just came and chopped off the lower half of my body, I wouldn't have even known it. If I didn't look down there, I would have no idea. After I got my epidural, she was like, the OBGYN that's going to deliver your baby is going to come in and break your water since it hasn't broke yet. I was like, okay, cool. That just means that maybe this baby will come sooner. The OBGYN comes in and she goes to break my water, and basically like she had her fingers in my cervix and I was still at a 9, and then she broke my water. It flooded everything. They had to change my bed sheets and everything. But she said while she broke my water, my cervix closed super tight on her fingers and she had to like pull them out really hard. She said that I dilated back down to like a 7. So I dilated 2 centimeters down, and they said that the reason I was at 9 centimeters before was because my membranes in my water was bulging so much that it was pushing on my cervix and making the hole bigger. Which is crazy. They said they've like never seen that happen before. It's super cool. But yeah, I went back down to a 7 and I was like, oh good, this is not moving faster. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten epidural. Maybe it would have just kept going fast, but I don't know. I can't really tell you what would have happened, but I'm glad that everything did go as smooth as it did. So then a little bit later, it was getting pretty late. It was the next day. It was the 31st, December 31st, super early in the morning. It was like probably around 3 o'clock. And I had like the peanut ball between my legs, and they kept having like flip me over to both sides, so I was getting super uncomfortable. And then finally, Austin was sleeping on the couch that was in the hospital room. Finally, I pressed the button and I called the nurse in, and my nurse was on break to eat lunch or to eat dinner. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. She was eating something. So a different nurse that was working at the time came in and checked me because I told them I felt like I had to poop. Like I felt some like pressure. I didn't really feel like I had to poop, but it felt like pressure in my butt, if that makes sense. So she checks me and she was like, oh girl, the baby's head is right here. She said that her fingers went in this far into my cervix, and that, like, not even into my cervix, just like into my hoo-ha, and her head was right there. So like the baby was coming out. That's the pressure I felt. So Austin was still sleeping, and the nurse was like cleaning up her hands and taking her gloves off and stuff. And I was like, Austin, 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 the baby's coming, Austin. And he would not wake up, not at all. So the nurse was like, do you want me to wake him up for you? This was like a different nurse than we had since our other one was on break, and I was like, yeah, I guess so. So she like walked over to him. She was like, hey, the baby's coming. You gotta get up. The baby's coming out. And he was like, huh? The baby's coming out? And he said that like it was hilarious because by the time he like woke up and came to, my legs were already up and like I was already doing practice pushes. So my actual nurse came in at the time and she was like, girl, why does this happen as soon as I go on break? She was like, how does that even work? I haven't went on break this whole time, and then once I go on break, you're pushing this baby out? What happened? I was like, I don't know. I guess she just wants to ruin your break. The baby's fault, not mine. She checks me and she was like, oh yeah, you need to push. So she was like, I'm gonna have you do some practice pushes. Doctor's waiting for me to let her know that she needs to come in and catch the baby. Legs were up, and she was like, okay, let's do a practice push. So I'm gonna count to 10. So like I start pushing, and she was like, wait, the baby's coming out. Don't do anything yet. So she was like, I'm just gonna let the doctor know that this baby's gonna come fast. We're gonna do another practice push and see what happens from there. So we did another practice push, and she was like, okay, we cannot do any more practice pushes. This baby's coming. I need to get the doctor in here. So like all of a sudden all these people were running in. They were flipping the bed up. They were doing all this stuff really fast. And everybody was like, girl, you were made to give birth. You were made to have babies. And I was like, what? I'm 17. Thanks, but wow. My grandma was in there too. My grandma, my mom, and Austin's mom was in there. And so was Austin, of course. My grandma was like, don't say she was made to have babies. She's 17. She's still my baby herself. And it was just so funny. We were all cracking jokes and stuff in there. It was hilarious. They said that I was like a really good pusher and stuff. And I was made to have babies. I probably pushed Oakland out in 15 to 30 minutes. And she was born at 3:47 in the morning on December 31st, 2019. So the last day of the year. It was super cool. It was good for taxes because we got a good tax return for 2019, and I had her on the last day of the year, so that's kind of funny because if we would have had her the next day, we wouldn't have got any tax returns for having a kid. So we got some good tax returns for that. But yeah, everything was good after that. Yeah, that was my birth story. If you guys want to know anything else, let me know in the comments. I can do a Q&A and stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, comment below, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications to be notified every time we post. We really love that you guys are subscribed to us and whenever you guys support us because it means so much to us. And we just love you guys so much. If you guys also want to go check out our social media, it's in the end screen, and I think it's in our description. That would be absolutely amazing, and we would love you so much for it, even though we already love you so much already. We really appreciate you guys, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. Bye!